Oh yeah, so was the first. It just stopped here in the hill. You see, it's almost wants to. Well, welcome back to Living with a Classic, and well, for the first time ever, the XJ12 just stopped. I was in the hill, like less than 2 kilometers from home. It was like a mile, and it just went boom and it quit. Boom, backfired and quit. And then I tried to get it going, but not that far from home, I packed up my stuff and I walked home. And then when my wife and I got back from work, got the Range Rover, and we're just towing slowly home. It's all right to tow an automatic if you don't go very fast. You're not going very far. So we're going about a mile at about, you know, not even 10 miles an hour, like 5. So when I get home, I got some things to do, and then we'll have a look. I'm wondering if either something happened with fuel. I have half a tank of fuel in both tanks. I tried both tanks. It seems like it wants to fire a little bit one side. Sounds weird. Or maybe something happened in the distributor, like something just went boom, like the rotor or something. I have no idea. It happened basically at 1,000 or 1,500 RPM, so it wasn't at high speed or anything. And I've been driving around for about an hour before that, so very strange. Good morning. It's the next day. So got a tow home. Luckily it wasn't very far at all. And we're sitting here. I hooked up a charger to the battery because I ran it flat trying things yesterday. And I've been charging for a while. I grabbed a spare battery and some jump cables. So I just want to see what happens now. I've slept on and I have a couple of theories. I think something happened in the distributor. Either the little pickup, the sensor has moved out of the way, the rotor has broken, or something's happened, because it was really just like a, I believe I hit like there was a bump in the road before that hill. I think I hit that, then I heard a bang, and then a backfire, and it was completely dead. So let's crank it now, see if it does anything. If not, we'll dig into that distributor, see if that is anything, and I don't know, we'll have to go from there. So I tried a couple things. I walked home and then I drove back to the car with another car because I had groceries to get those, and I just had some starting fluid then, and I sprayed that into the intake, and it really made no difference at all. I believe it does have fuel because I could smell fuel after I tried for a while. Also, I primed a couple times, and when I looked in here, this is once again hard to see, but there is a fuel line there, which is the return, and it looked wet around there. So it definitely looked like fuel. I have more than half a tank of fuel or somewhere around there in both tanks. I've switched between both tanks, and it really just was as if someone switched off the ignition. I believe we have spark just because I hear it try to fire sometimes. But let's just see what it does right now. It says it's been sitting overnight and I haven't done anything. If it fires up now, that'll be quite annoying because you don't really know what's going on. I'm just priming it a couple times. And let's see. You hear that? It's for caught once. Oh yeah, it doesn't want to. All right, I'm gonna get some tools. I'm gonna dig into the distributor, or I think before that, we'll get a spare plug set up to see that we have spark, and then we'll dig into the distributor. Can you see that plug right there? Let's see if it has any spark. Not sure. That was hard to see. It's quite bright out. I'll try that again. No, I don't think we have spark. Let me try a couple more things, but I think that might be it. I don't think we have spark. Okay, I have voltage at the coil. I have tried another coil. It's not the correct one, but I mean, it should give me spark. I have no spark. So something in the distributor is definitely going on. So time to get the HC leads off, get the distributor cap off, and have a look inside. I really hope it's something simple. Hope it's not my Reopus. You know, this has the Opus ignition system we talked about. I have a system called Reopus, which replaces all the electronics with modern stuff. Unfortunately, the guy that made those, he passed away several years ago, and they're not making more. It's a great product. The only other way to upgrade the system is the system S&G Barrett sells, which is quite expensive. So it's something I know I may need to do at some point, and I hope it's not right now. I hope it's just something inside there, simple. I hope the rotor or something like that has had issues, but let me rip into that and we'll see what's going on. Unfortunately, nothing really looks strange here. Inside of the cap doesn't look bad. I mean, I could do with a tiny bit of cleaning, but that shouldn't make it not run. This is all in place. That air gap in there looks pretty good, but most importantly, that sensor is not loose. The board you're seeing there on top, that is it's our modern version of the reed switch, which is there. That sends a signal to the fuel injection system. That seems to work because injectors do tick. Nothing to do with spark. I think what we'll do is I'm going to connect up the battery again. I'm going to put a lead through here and a spark plug, so we'll see if we get sparks directly out of the coil, because we just tried out of the distributor before. And if we don't, then we have some issue with the Reopus system. And I'm going to go through, still have the paperwork on installing it. I believe inside here there are a few LEDs that you can sort of troubleshoot the system with. But I think if this is broken, there's nothing we can do about it, since sadly he passed away and no one services them anymore. But let me connect up some things and we'll try for spark directly out of the coil. Otherwise, yeah, this may look like I will need a new ignition system. Ignition is turned on. I have this lead going straight into the coil. This is the trigger wire to the starter, so I can sort of hot wire the starter right here, and we can have a look there and see if we have any spark. Yeah, we do. Do you see that? And that is rotating. That's so strange. Okay. What is going on then? Is it... There were some weird marks. Let me turn the ignition off. There are some marks inside the distributor cap, but I mean, that makes no sense. If you have a look at the rotor, you can see there that it was riding on the edge here as well. I wonder if it's not all the way fully seated and there's some burn marks on it. So we'll take it off, we'll clean off the rotor and put it all back together and see if it fires up. This is really strange. I'm quickly running out of battery here, but lots of troubleshooting later. I have a different cap in there, but I have the same rotor, and now I do seem to have spark for some reason. We can see it pretty clearly. Let's see if I can get that there. It's not that easy to see the spark with the spark plug in sunlight, but come on, there, we should be able to see that. Battery is very, very low, so I need to charge it before I try to start it, but have a look at this. Yeah, I saw it spark a couple times. So, very strange. I'm going to let the battery charge for a couple of hours, and we'll put it all back together, and hopefully it fires up. Very weird if something in the cap broke. It looks fine inside, but that seems to be the case. It's all back together. Before I put the plug wires on, I just checked and I did have spark coming out, and I checked the plug as well, which is weird. The only thing I've really done now is I cleaned where the king lead goes in there. That was quite oxidized, and that looks a lot better now. Ignition's on. let's see what happens. Sort of wants to. I think I may need to be in the car because if we haven't pulled any plugs, it could be really flooded from all of this. So I'm going to be in the car and crank it with my foot flat on the floor, but we may need to pull plugs. I do still have spark, I think, though, but let me try it in the car. Before continuing, I just pulled a plug to make sure they were not super wet. They're not. And then put it right here, just double check. Yes, I do have spark. I need to just wait for the battery to charge more. I'm a little bit impatient and my charger is not the fastest. So I'm gonna let this sit for a couple hours because I think it needs to crank over really quickly with the foot on the floor to clear it. I think it is a little bit flooded. I'm not sure if that's the issue or not, but that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wait for a little bit, wait for it to clear. I think it's definitely getting fuel because when I pulled the plug there, I mean, it smelled of fuel. It wasn't wet, but it smelled like it was getting fuel. So I think that part is working, at least for now. So I'm gonna charge it and we'll come back probably later today or tonight. Many hours later and lots of troubleshooting. I've even swapped out the ECU. I can get it to almost fire. I noticed that the distributor seemed loose, and if I advance it all the way, this is the closest I'll get. Let's see if it wants to. You see, it's almost wants to. Do you see? It's so close. I need to dig a little further. It's almost as if like the distributor jumped or something. Very strange. As you can tell by the sun in the sky, it's gone. The day has gone by. I found something, and it's not fun. Let me bring it in for a closer look. I put a wrench on the front of the engine, and I have lined it up with like 0, like number 1 cylinder, top dead center. This is the marking for number 1 cylinder, top dead center. That's where we are. So that is 1, 2 rods in between. That means that the distributor is 60 degrees out or thereabouts. And if you think about it, before, the distributor was more like, yeah, pointing that way. So this is when I advanced it as much as I could, and that's when I started to get a little bit of firing out of it. So something catastrophic has happened. Once again, I was driving gently. This was like 1200 RPMs. I was just coming up the last hill to my house. I have a couple theories. Either something catastrophic has happened with my timing chain, which at least it's tight here. So I don't think so. Otherwise, I'm wondering if at the base of the distributor, the cog there, it has a locking pin. If that pin has sheared and the cog has spun and then it's locked on, it's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, at least it's not fun news. We're gonna call that it for this video. Lots of troubleshooting. Next step is to take the distributor out. I'm gonna see how I'm gonna do that, if I'm doing it where it is here, or if I'm gonna try and push the car into it. Every single space is full everywhere. I have the carport over there. I might try and push it into there. We'll see. I'll probably pull a distributor while it's here. It's supposed to be pretty good weather later this week as well, and then we'll see. I really hope nothing is damaged on this thing. It's been absolutely flawless all the years I've had it, and I've taken very well care of it. Never really over revved it. About 4,000 RPM is the max I've ever taken it to. It's always been flawless. So yeah, not such a great feeling, but we'll see what happens. In any case, you know, I do actually have a spare engine, so that is good. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Until next time, I'm Adam. This is Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon. All right, that fired right up.